The election is a mere 20 days away, and it appears we are no closer to a stimulus deal in Congress. Senate Republicans are planning a vote Monday on their own relief package as Speaker Pelosi blasts the White House for not making more concessions. Our senior columnist, Rick Newman, is here now to break it down. So, Rick, found this out just a few moments ago. Politico says that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and House Speaker Pelosi are going to speak again today to try and break that impasse. How optimistic are you?
So what? They're having another phone call. I think both sides are trying to make it look like they really want to do something when everybody in Washington knows there's almost no chance of a deal before Election Day. The real interesting twist here is that now that the Senate Republicans have said they are going to put forward their own bill, it's basically the same so-called skinny bill they put forth going back a few weeks. So now the White House and the House Democrats actually are very similar on the type of bill they want. So there's an alliance there. And on the other side, they're negotiating with Senate Republicans. We should remind everybody, President Trump is a Republican, not a Democrat, but he can't seem to make an agreement with the senators of his own party about what kind of stimulus bill this ought to be. So we're just not going to get one.
Rick, isn't the stone cold truth here? We're not getting a stimulus unless the stock market absolutely plunges.
Yeah, and the stock market is not going to plunge because, as the prior guest was discussing, and many other guests have been discussing, we are going to get a stimulus bill at some point. The sort of worst case scenario is actually a pretty good scenario, at least for the stock market, and that's a blue wave in which Joe Biden wins the White House and Democrats win the Senate, which means we would get a very large stimulus bill, probably going back to $3 trillion or more, which was the original House offer, but it would not come until probably late January or early February. So we get more stimulus than we would otherwise, but it would come later. So I think the stock market gets that, which is why I don't think the stock market is going to quake anytime before the election, even though there is probably not going to be a stimulus bill.
But Rick, how much of this is the Democrats basically digging in their heels and saying, we're not going to give President Trump a quote unquote quote victory here by greenlighting a stimulus package ahead of the election?
I think a lot of it is, Alexis. All along, since they really hit this impasse starting in July or August, I mean, the real battle has been not to help people who are hurting and find a way to get some aid to workers who are running out of money or unemployed people who need help or businesses that are about to fail. That is not what this has been about for the last couple of months. It has been about who can win political points or the same thing, blame the other side effectively going into the election. I think Nancy Pelosi actually, I think she had a stronger hand a month ago. She had this interview with Wolf Blitzer on CNN yesterday. And Wolf Blitzer asked her just a very, honest and simple question is, why wouldn't you rather just do something to help people now instead of doing nothing? And she gave kind of a contorted answer that I don't think made a lot of sense. And she basically accused Wolf Blitzer of siding with Republicans. I don't think too many people think that's how he rolls. But she was really on the defensive. And I think the reason she was on the defensive is she really is kind of standing in the way of a deal before Election Day. I think what she really wants, she knows Biden is ahead. She knows there's a good chance Democrats will win the Senate. She wants Democrats to be in charge of this process after November 3rd. And we'll, who knows whether they will or not. We'll see.
Yeah, I watched that interview. Pelosi was not happy with Wolf, called him an apologist for the Republican Party. I'm with you. I don't think a lot of people would think CNN and Wolf Blitzer and think that. But, one of the signature goals of President Trump, certainly pre this pandemic, was to, in his words, fix our relationship with other countries when it came to trade, like China and Mexico. And that's exactly what you and I spoke about in this week's Electionomics podcast, which drops today, by the way. Tell everybody what they can expect from that.
Right. We interviewed Chris Rogers, who's a great resource on these topics at Panjiva, which is a unit of S&P Global, and asked him, what has Trump actually accomplished? I mean, it's time to say, look, these were his promises in 2016. What has he actually accomplished? Trump has failed on his top line targets, things like reducing the trade deficit with China and other countries. But he's also done some things that he could build on in a second term, or even Joe Biden could build on if he's the one who wins. So check out that episode of Electionomics. We'll spell it all out.
Yeah, we dig into all that. You can do that on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Rick, good to see you.
Bye, guys.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.